In the last section, we set up our actions. In this section, we'll set up the reducer to work with those actions. So let's start with our first action, which is set DB profile. And we don't need to create another reducer for this one. We can just add it to our auth reducer since it is user profile data. So let's go in our auth reducer file, and under the profile property in the initial state, let's add a third property called DB profile, which will of course hold the user profile data from our database. And let's add a couple of case statements, and we can just copy and paste the code. We don't need to start from scratch. And we can just change the add profile action type to set DB profile. And also remember to change the profile property to DB profile. And we can do the same thing with the remove DB profile action type. For our posts and comments action types, we will need another reducer. So let's just copy the code from auth reducer and then paste it in a new file called postreducer.js. So after pasting the code, we can make the required changes. So let's delete everything from the initial state and add two empty arrays called posts and comments. Next, let's change the action types from login success to fetch DB post, and also change the property from is authenticated to post. And we need to set post to action.payload since that's where all the posts are contained. And we can do the same for removing the DB post. Now we need to set up our action for getting the post comments. So we can just change the action types to fetch post comments and set it up in the same way we did for the posts. Then we can just add remove post comments. And we can delete the last two case statements since we only have 4 actions for posts and comments. And also remember to change the profile property to comments. And finally, we can just change the name of the reducer from auth reducer to post reducer. And let's actually change comments from null to an empty array. And we can't forget to add this reducer to the combine reducers function. So let's just open up index.js and import the post reducer here. Then we can just set a property of post reducer to the actual post reducer. And we're done setting up our reducers and actions.